They say some objects carry more than memories, some carry curses. For Angela, it started as an innocent obsession. A Pooh Bear collector, always searching for the rarest finds. One day she saw the worn Pooh Bear at the antique shop as a charming relic of childhood. But she didn't know that in taking it home, she wasn't just collecting a piece of the past. She was opening a door to something far darker. In the stillness of the night, long after the city's hum had faded, Angela would learn the truth. Not every piece of nostalgia is meant to be held, and not every story belongs in your world. Because this wasn't the 100-acre woods she remembered, and this time it wasn't about finding a friend. It was about surviving a nightmare. The shadow of 100-acre woods. Angela was an avid collector of vintage toys, and her latest acquisition was a worn Pooh Bear stuffed toy from a local antique shop. Its fur was faded, the red shirt tattered and its glassy eyes dull, yet it radiated an eerie charm she couldn't resist. The shopkeeper hesitated before selling it. "Are you sure you want this one? It's different," he muttered. Angela dismissed his warning as a sales gimmick. She loved the idea of a unique backstory for her collection. That night, as she placed Pooh on her shelf, her apartment seemed colder than usual. Dismissing it as a draft, she settled in for bed. But sleep didn't come easy. Around 2 a.m., a soft humming echoed through the room. She bolted upright. The sound was distant yet hauntingly familiar. "The more it snows, tiddly-pom." Her eyes scanned the room. The shelf where Pooh sat seemed darker, almost like a shadow had enveloped it. Gathering her courage, she approached the toy. Its once innocent face appeared twisted, the glassy eyes now brimming with something almost alive. She swore she saw its mouth twitch. Then it spoke. "Why did you take me from the 100-acre woods?" Angela stumbled back, her heart pounding. "This isn't real," she whispered to herself. Pooh's voice grew deeper, more guttural. "You don't understand what you've done." The room spun, and she found herself not in her apartment but a distorted version of the 100-acre woods. Trees loomed over her like skeletal hands, the air heavy with decay. From the shadows emerged twisted figures, Eeyore with empty sockets where his eyes should have been, Tigger's stripes darkened like scars, and Piglet, or what was left of him, scuttling like a spider. "This is where you belong now," Pooh growled, towering over her. His once stubby arms stretched unnaturally long, claws glinting in the dim light. "You took me from my world, so now you'll take my place." Angela ran, but the forest seemed endless. The voices of her childhood icons mocked her, growing louder with every step. Finally she tripped, landing at the base of a rotting tree. Pooh stood above her, his smile stretching unnaturally wide. With a final scream, Angela felt her body go cold. When she woke, she was back in her apartment, but something was wrong. Her hands felt soft, stitched together. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. Looking down, she saw her reflection in a mirror. Her body was now plush, her face frozen in a permanent smile. On the shelf the Pooh Bear sat, its glassy eyes bright and alive. "Welcome to the collection, Angela," it said softly, placing her among other toys, their eyes pleading for release. As Angela fought to escape the twisted version of the 100-acre woods, the horrors of the place became unbearable. Tigger's feral laughter echoed in her ears as his jagged claws raked the trees around her. The lifeless eyes of Eeyore followed her every move, while Piglet's unnerving scuttles drew ever closer. Just as she was about to lose hope, Angela spotted something glinting in the decayed underbrush, a small golden key. It felt warm in her hand, pulsing as if alive. Instinctively she understood this was her way out. But before she could act, Pooh emerged, his monstrous form casting a shadow that swallowed the sickly forest. "You can't leave," he snarled, his claws glinting. "This is your home now. You belong to us." With trembling hands, Angela held the key high. "Not anymore!" she screamed, plunging it into a faintly glowing keyhole that appeared in the air before her. A blinding light enveloped her, and she heard an otherworldly roar as the monstrous figures of the 100-acre woods disintegrated into shadows. When Angela woke, she was back in her apartment. The toy shelf was empty, the Pooh Bear gone. Everything seemed normal, but the air felt lighter, as if a curse had lifted. She breathed a sigh of relief, believing the nightmare was over. But as she turned to leave the room, her heart sank. On her desk was a piece of paper, folded neatly. Unfolding it with shaking hands, she read the words written in crimson ink. "You may have escaped, but the woods are always watching." The faint sound of humming, "The more it snows, tiddly-pom," echoed softly behind her. But when she turned, nothing was there. Only her reflection in the window staring back, and just for a moment, something else. Something with glassy eyes and a sinister smile. If you liked the story, please consider subscribing to our channel. We release weekly horror stories to keep you on the edge of your seat with tales of horror, ensuring you never sleep soundly again.